The question that I would like to ask would be to say, what is it that kept you going to say, irrespective of what the challenges may be there, I'm still going to be a CEO for longer, because we have a challenge in South Africa where most of the young people, we start something now, and in 3 years' time we have hopes to something else. So what is it that inspired to say, you know what, I'm going to hold on until I retire from this and see the Exaro be what it is today?
Well, they were paying me well, so. So it made more sense. No, you know what? Exaro was formed in 2006. There were 2 key players that played a key role, and that was Dr. Konfukoli, who was on the Kumba side, and myself on the CU side. That we formed the organization. But there are 2 things that we thought were critical in our lives, and that is to stabilize the organization. I think that was very important, and therefore I stayed on for a very long time, simply because there were tasks that I wanted to carry on. But to be fair, I started as early as at the age of 57, asking the board to release me. Because it's important that you know when your time is up. And 2, one of my mentors used to say to me, whenever you start a job, whenever you get a job, you must always work yourself out of a job. So at that time, I knew that I was ready to go, and that people could continue. We had good people in the organization. So the last point that I want to make is, insofar as staying there for a long time, there were a couple of things that I, as a person who had been seen as cursed, wanted to deal with. And that is, a lot of black people, black executives didn't want to be operational on the mining side, or the opportunities were not there for them to be operational. So I had to dump everything I had so that I became operational, and to prove a point that anything that other people could do, I could still do, and do better, actually, and compete with them, toe to toe. And that's it. So that's the reason.
Oh, thank you very much. I think what I'm picking up is that to want to be operational, which is a challenge with most of us as young people, to say, start a business today and suddenly you are the chief executive officer, the company has no staff at all, but so we just face that. But now I'm picking up, I'm not sure, sir, would you say safely that you have retired?
I retired, true, that's true.
Okay.
I retired from Exaro. But I cannot retire because I learned to develop a muscle.
Okay.
And this muscle is very strong, and it makes me do other things. So that's it. So I cannot retire. And it is wrong to say you retire. You retire from one place to the other. Otherwise, if I say I'm retired, I'm ready to die. I'm not ready to die yet.
So would you say, I believe that most of the young people today, most of them, if I ask to say, those whose goals is to say, at age of 40, I'm going to retire, I may see some hands if you were to be honest. Because I believe that most of the young people will think that for you to get to 40 means that now you have to leave everything, you have to travel the world and all that. But I think what we are picking up now is that you can retire from one thing, and then you can continue with something else that you can pioneer for you to continue and to do it in life. So with regard to the leadership that we have in South Africa, and also the challenges that we have in terms of issues that are coming up every day and the direction that the economy is taking, with the aim of saying we want to create certain particular number of jobs, and according to LDP, but we are sitting at 27.5. Would you say that there is a lack of collaboration between the leadership in the corporate and the leadership in the government? Or is there anything that can be done for that collaboration to be enhanced for the businesses outside to play a major role in terms of allowing the growth of the job in the industries.
I'll make this point, which you're not going to like. South Africa is not unique. If you look at any nation, this is scientific. It never takes less than 40, 50 years when there's change and transformation in a country for things to start stabilizing and get to a particular point. It has never happened, and what we're trying to do in South Africa is unique, simply because we are expediting that one and trying to shorten the period from 40, 50 years to 20, 30 years. The reason for that is because, okay, let me give you one example. I don't know, everyone has read this story in the Bible. There's a story where God took Israelites from Egypt and all the way to Palestine. That's a journey of 11 days, isn't it? But he took them to the desert 40 years, and he killed them all there. And only a few survived and went into the promised land. It's very simple. Those people were complaining, they were crying, they wanted to go back. They were never ready for the bigger things, so they had to die. So it happened all the time. So for us, what we're trying to do in South Africa is to squeeze that period to be shorter. And that's why I cannot retire. And in my next journey that I'm involved in, let's say, for instance, if you look at the mining sector, the jobs that you have in the primary sectors that we have are continuously shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. But because our environment shaped us such that we believed one thing and one thing only, and that is, once you finish schooling, you must look for a job. It happens. That happens. You cannot run away from that. So we need to squeeze and shorten this thing by using technology to a large degree. And it is imperative that everyone, the leadership, civil society, spends more time in shortening that level and in assisting in that. One of the things that we're trying to do, it's fun, it's quite fun, because when you have a seed, you don't have one seed, but you probably could have more than one seed. One of the businesses that I found to be very interesting that we've started at Talent, it's the movie business. There's a movie now that is being that they're shooting, and it employs something like 1,000 people that are on set. For the next 6 weeks, they are all milling around. So if you have a number of those that are there, it just demonstrates that you can employ and absorb as many people as possible. So that is why you cannot retire. That's why all of us need to continue doing something. But to think that mining is going to give you work, ESCOM is going to give you work, all those things, no, it's not going to happen.
Thank you very much, sir. Our next question.
Thank you. My name is Kumi.
You didn't have to write it down.
I was waiting when Stu was speaking, sir. Thank you for the opportunity to ask a question. So a quick one. As an individual and a person in business, what has been non-negotiable for you? Meaning, what is it that you've been holding sacred, and what is it that you've told yourself you'll never compromise on?
There are so many things that I don't compromise on. But firstly, I think you must be prepared to do time. In anything that you do time. You have to work hard. You've got to give yourself that opportunity to work. The second thing, you have to focus on what you're doing. And really, it's very important. Those things are non-negotiable. We are different as managers. I am a more inclusive type of a manager. I tend to take people along with me, and it wastes a lot of time. But there are people who don't do that. But for me, inclusivity is very important, and I try to make sure that I walk with people all along. Not that I've succeeded all the time, because I've failed in quite a lot of issues. instances, but that's what happens. But it's important that there are things that are critical. 2, 3. The last one is you must reward success and encourage and punish mediocrity.
Yes.
We need to encourage mediocrity, those who are mediocre. But if you continue along those lines, I have to remove you because there's X number of hours that are there in life, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time with you, but I'm going to try my best to ensure that you find life somewhere. But if we're going to reward mediocrity, this country is going to go nowhere.
Last question.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm from Cotlands, the NPO. Exara for the past few years actually helped us with funding. Education is key in our country, and I find that if we don't start putting our resources into our children in the rural areas, we're going to land up sitting in a situation where we don't have youth getting employed, etc., etc. And for me, it's a challenge to you, sir. You say that you're not retired. I'd love for you to get involved with a corporation like Cotlands, and I can keep you very busy. So if you'd like to take up that challenge, I'd really love that.
I will see. I love education. As I leave now, I'm rushing to vets because I've got some assignment there. I participate quite a lot in education, and I would love to do something.